Today we have my friend TJ, and you wrote a bio that I'm not going to read because it was quite long, but TJ is a man of many things. You are an artist, a musician, shameless plug for Illumination Project here. Maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. You're also really interested in cultivating community. And so that's another part of what I want to talk about and what I want all of you to think about where you are in your design stage or just creative stage in general. I don't want this to necessarily be geared towards just graphic designers. I think it's okay that we open up and talk about more creative things. But one thing that I think a lot of what you all struggle with watching, specifically myself included, which is why we talk about it a lot, is marketing ourselves. As you know from the previous guests, we've been talking a lot about marketing ourselves. We've been talking a lot about flows. We've been talking a lot about how to, I even had a guest on that's a head of copywriter. He was talking about how to write about ourselves, whether it's captions, website, whatever. And so I think a great place for you to also come in is to talk about how we would carry someone through like a funnel. Like that's another kind of dirty word, I think, like especially for graphic designers that are trying to get work. They're like, I don't want to talk about this stupid funnel. But before we go too deep into it, if you do want to just introduce yourself and some highlights about you, and then we can just kind of see where the conversation goes.
So my name's TJ. I'm, like you said, a musician, creator. I make music through the Project Illumination Project, and I partner with other creatives through a community called Flock. And kind of my whole goal is to partner with as many creatives as I can in 2025 through resourcing them in different ways and just helping them understand how they can use their creative skills and culture and in their career or however they want to use them.
Yeah, and you have more, it's not just like musicians or just like artists in Flock. It's like you actually have some other people. Like I think you have someone doing, I don't know if it's architecture, but you have like a range of.
Yeah, like we have YouTubers in there.
Yeah.
We just had somebody join yesterday that's a cinematographer trying to get
really?
cinematography. And so
Okay.
thinking through processes and how to get started in that, but really just like helping creators think about their work well, but also think about it in a strategic way and use modern day techniques and marketing and stuff like that to get their message out there.
Okay, super cool. Now, on that same kind of topic already, like, one thing that I've struggled with, and probably a lot of people struggling with if they're trying to get work, is procuring an email list. So capturing like leads, and then we can talk about at some point what potential cold, warm, hot leads would be, right? Because those people might be intending to buy or grab your service, become a client, and then attached to the whole capturing lead is this idea of the upsell, which I don't do at all on my personal website, but you do really well. And I have other friends, because I like sprinkled that in. I would be like, now my friend does X, Y, and Z. What do you think about this? And all of them were like, oh, of course we do that. And I was like, great. I don't do that. So it's not because I don't want to, but let's start kind of at the beginning of what would be the funnel. So let's talk about like getting this email list and maybe some tactics that you kind of think about. And then we'll move into, once they're on your site, landing page, community, whatever it is, then we'll talk about the upsell, but maybe we can talk about the other stuff first.
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the biggest hurdles for creatives, and I'm in the similar boat, where like we hate feeling salesy, and like we hate.
That's exactly right.
And we hate like just transactional relationships.
True.
And I think that's pretty normal. And I think we're all kind of burnt out on transactional relationships. And unfortunately, like digital marketing and like funnels, and like when we hear like words like that, we immediately jump into that. But kind of if you look at it, it's like origin and its base. I can't remember his name now, but he wrote a whole book on this. But it was like the interactions that you have with human beings in building a relationship.
Okay.
And if you take that same approach to your digital marketing, it works the same way, right? Like when you walk into a room.
Thinking about a relationship, you mean?
Yeah.
That's what you.
Yeah, I got a relationship. Yeah. Okay, like, and we can even like bring it into like if you're like trying to date someone, or if you're on the prowl or whatever it is. Like you can step into a space and you're unknown and you don't know anybody.
Also true. Yeah.
you know,
Oh, true.
and that's the same way in digital world and marketing, right?
Okay.
And so there's a
So you have to
process.
date your consumer before they buy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, in a way,
In layman's terms.
yeah, there's levels of building a relationship. There's things that you have to do first before you go to
Yes.
other stages.
Yeah,
Where
this would
it's-
be the kind of what you talk about, high funnel or high level. Yeah.
top of funnel,
Top. Yeah. Whatever.
funnel,
Yeah.
bottom.
I like the relationship language.
Yeah, but it's just because it makes more sense. I think because if you immediately jump from, and we've all felt this, like the ad that just comes out and it's like, hey, buy this, and you're like, well, I don't even know you.
True.
It's similar to like approaching someone and being like, hey, you want to head this way? And it's like, whoa, that might be assault. Like there's things.
Yeah, even like I was trying to think of exceptions to what you just said. So an ad that comes up and it's like, buy this to make your life easier. And I was trying to think of exceptions, and things like kitchen gadgets and dishware came to mind. But even then, like Scrub Daddy doesn't do that. They do like the whole like story. They do a whole narrative story until they get to the very end where they're like, pick it up maybe at Hobby Lobby or whatever. I don't know. Like, they're like, wherever it is, you can probably find it.
Yeah.
They wait until the very end. And so it's like, it's so interesting how you say that, because like, okay, so it's the best example I'm thinking of is what when you said is like do you want to know how I made $5,000 in passive income this last? And then the joke is like, I didn't.
Yeah. And that's a big thing too. And that's probably like a totally different topic, but like in content and making content is like, you can lead with something, but you also have to then follow through with it, or else you're not going to be trusted. And then when they see you again, they're not going to continue to interact with you as a brand, you know?
Yes.
Because if you always lead with, here's how I made $5,000, and it always ends with, oh, sorry, I never did. Then it's like, the next time you see that, they're not going to come.
Yeah.
But
oh, true. There's only so many times you get like, a pass.
An intro.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. And so I think like all that to say, I think it's helpful for us as creators to think through it as a relationship, because that better helps us understand in messaging and like what we're trying to accomplish and how to better communicate with people, right? So if I'm talking to somebody who doesn't know me, that might be top of funnel, I'm going to say things different than if they've had a 6-year-long relationship on my email list, because they've been sitting on my email list, or a customer, maybe even like
previous customer.
Yeah. Previous customer or whatever. And so there's ways in which we can kind of like nurture our customers and bring them down the funnel. And so we can kind of talk about that. I don't know where you want to lead the conversation.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places you can do that from. So I don't want to jump into talking about like ads or anything, especially not right now. Maybe we can a little bit later, because I feel like a lot of people watching, I mean, they can let us know in the comments. They're probably not to that level, especially if there's something like a freelance designer, or maybe if they are like doing something with video, or they're doing something with music, or they're doing lettering or art. Like they're not ready to probably run ads. But there's so many. You're talking about nurturing and leading them through. I mean, social media, there's YouTube. There's portfolios like a Behance or a Dribble. There's your own personal website. I think people like would be surprised if you put not no work, but if you put some work into your website and you have like maybe 1 or 2 blogs about your thing, like it will get visits at some point, especially if you share it around. So yeah, I social media is probably the biggest one. I would say it's probably the most relative for creatives, because it's so accessible. So maybe you can think about it from that approach, like leading them.
Yeah. Like, and like how to further that conversation. And I think you mentioned this too. Like, I think the primary goal for every creative, if you're just getting started in like building that base of like, whether it be customers or even just like,
or maybe they've started, but it's like they're stuck.
Yeah, gotcha. I think if you've started and you're trying to figure out what's next, you need to have people to talk to. And so I would start building your email list as soon as possible. And so the way I would do that is obviously through social and addressing those top of level questions. And so when you're dealing with top of level questions, you want to think more problem aware. So like, what are these like, and you probably talked about this in other podcasts, where it's like, what are the problems people are facing? What are the common things? They don't necessarily need to know you. They just need to know like what the problem is that they're trying to solve. So if they're looking for a certain,
or something relative, or within the topic that they're interested in.
Yeah. And so as you make those, and as you kind of listen to feedback and what performs well, you can kind of get an idea of like what thing you can offer, whether it be like, and this is like what's called a permission offer. in like the digital marketing world, which is like you're asking for permission to follow back up with them. So like this would be like the free PDFs and
Yep.
the downloadables.
Yep.
I saw one creator do one that I think would be really applicable and to maybe more of a design oriented audience would be like coloring pages and PDFs. I was working with an artist like putting together kind of a downloadable system there, and then making that offer to then allow some sort of like feedback loop and return path.
Or even like checklists.
Yeah.
Like creatives love, well, I love
Absolutely.
checklists, but like a workbook for your flow. Like you probably have one. We're both massive fans of Notions. Kittl is massive fans of Notions. We use Notion. We use Notion all over the place.
Yeah.
Even like a checklist or workflow for your specific kind of creative industry. My friend Nick made a really good point. I was talking to him last week about saying like, don't come and try to compete with me because I'm already doing this like 40 to 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't try to be the designer that competes with me that already does this really well. Like, where can you take what I do, but put it in your niche? So he gave a really good example. He's like, why don't you talk to like lawyers or real estate people about how their designs could be better?
Yeah.
And then you insert yourself into a market that needs it.
Yeah.
And so I feel some of what you're saying is you figure out how you're going to talk to them.
Yeah.
And then give them this, you said permission offer.
Yeah. Permission offer. Like first you have to, and I was just talking to a different creator in our community about this. Like the first thing you have to do is understanding like who you're talking to and like that niche. And that's kind of like what you're talking about is like not just designers, but like law firm designers or hospital. And I think once you figure that out, then you can figure out what to offer, right? So if they're like if it's a law firm, you're going to have different design needs. And so you can actually meet and meet those faster so that when they need something bigger or you have a bigger offering, like a branding package or an editing suite, you then offer
them. That's what people are thinking about.
Yeah. So it's like you get them the quick win, which is the downloadable PDFs of like templates or your checklists of, 5 things you need to do before you send out that brief
pitch deck or capabilities deck.
Yeah. Whatever that thing is that you've designed.
Or what to include in a capabilities deck, something like that.
Yeah. This is where it can get fun for the creative, where we don't have to necessarily feel like all icky. Like this is creating in and of itself. Like we get to think of a way to solve a problem.
I love that.
And then we get to then offer it as a quick win.
Okay.
And get that trust. Right?
Yeah.
And then once we have that trust, we can then begin to nurture that relationship and if it blossoms to a bigger deal, it does. If it doesn't,
right. But your priority then is like your priority though is getting the email. Is that what you would say?
Yeah.
Because I know there's this thing called mini chat, which we use for Kittl, but I think we do, but I may look into it for myself because I saw a lot of posters. So that would be kind of a quick like, hey, comment poster if you want the link to buy this poster. So there's that, like I've seen people do that where it's like comment guide to get the link to the guide. Now, I guess maybe I've answered my own question because what you could do is with that tool, it sends them the link, but they have to put in the email to get the guide. Yeah. Is that where you guys?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, and if you've ever been through some of my funnels, you comment and then the way you send it to them is to the email. So you have them sign up to the email and then
that's the payoff. They get it in. Yeah.
They get it in the email and then I usually will throw in something a little extra, like a little gift, like so right now, if you join our community, I also send you like a free CD, which is a pretty common one that I send out a lot.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like a little gift. Yeah. And so that's my way of like making another offer that is like another freebie, but in a similar, like leading them to where I would like them to go. Right. Or using some sort of resource or taking some sort of product, whatever your end goal is.
Yeah. And so when let's assume now people have taken that kind of advice. They've thought about what they're going to be talking about, who they're talking to, which is kind of the same thing, right? They've offered this permission offer type thing, or however they want to put the language to it.
Yeah.
And they've captured the email.
Yeah.
Or let's say, I hope you guys are capturing emails. What happens now? I guess people will have a lot of questions depending on, and this is going to look different depending on if you're selling a product or a service, because service-based work, so like graphic designers or artists or letterers, they certainly want to build an email list, but it's probably going to be more story driven. It's going to be more behind the scenes. It's going to be more like, why would you hire me? It's going to be less like, buy my $30,000 package right now.
Yeah.
Someone who is creating products within a digital space or a creative space or a design space, I feel like that's going to look different. So they are going to want to like kind of periodically send an email that's like, I've got new stuff.
Yeah.
But like, we want to talk to both. I don't want to just talk about selling products. I want to make sure that everybody gets value. So how long would you say, like, after you've given them the permission offer, they're chilling on your email list, like, what do you do to nurture even breaching the conversation of, hey, you should give me money?
Yeah. I think it's just like have you ever read the book, The Giving Tree?
Not all of it.
Not all of it, but it's this idea that like with every thing I take out of, like, I'm taking from this well of like goodwill.
Yeah. Okay.
And so immediately when I take something out of I've now taken their email. I've withdrawn a little bit of goodwill. And so that's why I usually try to offer something else like right after, whether it be that free thing or like a free, tip or another.
You also do like time with me or whatever.
Yeah, I do.
Like a community, like I'm gonna get on this call if you want to get on this.
Yeah. So some sort of like reassuring of like, hey, I want to give more and like re-put into that goodwill well, if you will.
So this is like alchemy, like
he
equal or opposite reaction.
Yeah. But in a way, like I'm not doing anything different more than just like continuing to usher them down this idea of learning more about who I am and what might make sense for them.
Okay.
Right. So what I would do is I would then begin to educate them on your brand and your story. Like
what matters to you?
Yeah. What matters to you and why you do what you do.
Okay.
Because the minute they understand why you do what you do and what you do, they can make a decision then if it makes sense to continue, and then you can make them an offer. Right.
True. So, or maybe hit them with a survey first.
Oh yeah. I would hit them with,
like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Or how'd you get here is probably good for product-based people selling a specific thing. But for digital ones, or for service-based stuff too, I think a survey would be acceptable as well. I think it would be like, what, if you could have anything that you need for your brand or whatever, like, what would it be?
Figuring out some sort of like survey or like questionnaire to definitely have them. You can also do that in like, I would even put that as like maybe part of the form, like that they
part of the what?
Part of the form, or like,
oh wait, they're gonna put their email to begin with.
Yeah, like tell us the biggest bottleneck for you right now, or like what.
My fear would be
it would add more friction, but it would qualify people more.
How you reconcile like how many things you need to ask, because like people are very like fickle. It's like we don't want to hit them with a page where they're gonna get this downloadable guide, but it's like, first answer my 20 questions.
Yeah, I definitely think you want to take away as much friction as possible, but it also depends on the stage. Like I would maybe
stage,
like stage of like your relationship with them. Sorry.
Oh, okay, got it.
I can clarify that a little bit better, but yeah, I mean I've done it both ways. Like I've done one, like right now we have a free community that's open to all creators, and like
that funnels into the
funnels into the paid one. Yeah. And as you get more into it, there's more like one-on-one, but we do ask questions up front. We just ask 3 to like join it, but there is a little bit more intention to like get them there. So I think it's a lot of testing and like figuring out what the audience is. Okay. I think if you're just getting started, right? Like if we're talking to somebody that's just getting started and building their email list, I probably wouldn't hit them with a survey until like maybe like seven days later. Like I would give them a good, like what's called like in marketing terms, like an intro series or an I series, like here's who I am, like all the things we talked about. I would do a couple emails with that first, and then be like, now I want to know, now that I've shared who I am, who are you? And then begin to ask again. Because you're taking again out of that well when you begin to ask a question, ask them to do something.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah. More questions have opened up. So this is a good point. So you mentioned like when to kind of send stuff, which was my original question probably 5 minutes ago, which is good because I was going to bring up the survey thing anyways. We already talked about it. Now, a looming question that we've always had, and I've always asked either any kind of marketing people that come on the show or a good friend of mine, Scott. He's come on. He's more of a kind of an Etsy guy, but he relies so heavily on email. Like he's funneling back to Etsy from email, and I've asked him this question as well, and he has a particular answer. But I want to know from your experience, like how many is too many emails? Because I'm already afraid that they've done the thing, they've done the thing, they get their item. Then maybe you hit them with a little about me.
Yeah.
How, like, and then we're gonna hit them with a survey, and then we're like, how?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there are a lot of differing opinions on this, and I think it's not a cop-out answer to say like you kind of just got to test it. You know, like I think so many times we just want it to be like, what's too many? But
what's the magic number?
Yeah, I don't.
But I have to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I do.
That's all I want.
Right, yeah.
I want the people to make the decision. They can go. You guys can go back and watch Scott's video with me. I asked him this exact question, and I'll kind of reshare what he said after I hear what you said.
Yeah. So I have what's called an intro series. Like I said, so when you pop in whatever space we interact, you pop in, and then over the course of 7 days, I will send you one email.
Every 7 days is one?
No, I send you an email a day for 7 days.
For 7 days. Okay.
For about, I think that's how I have it set up right now. I'm testing a different workflow right now, but I think
that's what's called that's what you're calling the intro series.
Yeah.
You're not asking them to do anything.
Nope. I asked them at the very end to do something, whether it be like join, whatever the next step is to make sense for them. However, because this is important too, like segment your list. Like don't make the same offer to the same person.
Okay.
Right. Because like if you have, so for me, I have a varying different levels of people's interest. Like I work with some like creators that are a little bit higher tier and can afford like a higher product. Like I'm not going to make them an offer that's a little smaller. Or if they're like can't afford like one-on-one mentorship and coaching.
But how would you know that they came? Like, I guess the question is.
That's like how that's what I would use a survey for.
Oh,
yeah.
Got
I would kind of use that to kind of
good point
segment and kind of.
So you've already done that building and then after the survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you send an email once a day for this intro series, up to 7 days. You ask them to kind of do a next step, right?
Yeah. Next step or some offer that I make.
Or some offer, a paid thing or?
Yes or no.
Okay, so depending on where they are in the segment.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's the frequency like after that? Because like, let's say somebody does get to the 7th thing and they're like, I received this, but I'm not going to do this yet, but I'm also not going to unsubscribe.
Yeah. Then I think once or twice a week is not wild. Like I think that's pretty industry standard.
Yeah.
And like what people are used to. For like what I call like a Seinfeld series. And I stole that from what's his name? Some other digital marketer, and I come up with that. But if they don't take the offer that I make them, then I put them in what's called my Seinfeld segment, which is just like my regular, like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's things that is happening within my business or my community.
Here's the show.
And then, just the regular check-ins and education. And then when I have another offer, I'll make that. Like usually like once a month, they say you should make an offer of some sort.
Okay. I am learning as much as everybody else is learning. Now, when I was talking with Scott, he mentioned that there is a kind of a difference to be had, or at least in your mind, between service-based things and like products. His point, I think, was if they've already signed up to like purchase a product from you, their likelihood of doing it again is high.
Yeah.
So they've given you permission to keep asking them. And so his whole thing is like, there's an unsubscribe button.
Yeah.
Like you send as many emails as you feel is necessary. And he's like, when we do sales, we do an email every day. That's a countdown. They do like a countdown series to when
and that's what I would mean when I would like say like an offer, like I'm an offer, I'm going to do that whole thing again.
It's a whole funneled track.
Yeah. That's called a digital marketing terms, a series, like an ascension series. You're making them ascend the level.
Probably do that in the recesses.
That's fine. You know, it's back there with the files.
It's back there with the files. I mean, I would just call it like, I would call it like a funnel.
Yeah.
or a drive or an acquisition,
Yeah.
something, I don't know. But it's freeing in a way to hear both him and you kind of talk about that. And depending, I think once a week for sure is not wild. And then if you are doing an offer for a specific thing, certainly more would be necessary. And I mean, I have friends that I'm not gonna say I have zero intention of ever hiring them to do any branding work, but like I follow their emails, and when they say like occasionally, not all the time, maybe once a quarter, there'll be a big email that's like open to new clients, happy to do an onboarding, first client for 300 off or whatever. That's not unusual for a service-based person who's either doing web design, or most of my friends, it's going to be some kind of branding design or logo design. But I have some friends that do web design too, and that's common to offer this kind of like starting rate, $300 off. This is my package. Learn more about it here. There's still no like, it's not like, because that's not how it works. You don't like go to the thing and add to cart for $3,000. It's like you're gonna book a call. You're gonna do discovery. You're gonna see if it works. So, like, I think that's super common. And then all the while building them with the story is probably the best go.
Yeah.
But maybe, I mean, I would love to just know how you're managing that with you have a kind of twofold captive audience. Captive is a strong word, everybody, but I do like to use an email list as a captive audience. Etsy is not a captive audience, but your website is. Because if someone comes, you see what I mean? Like, so if someone comes to my website to look at my services or my products, I'm not competing with anybody else. On Etsy or another marketplace, or even on Upwork or Fiverr, you are now competing with hundreds of thousands of other people. And then what's even better is if you have the email list.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
They are captive to a
return back.
Yes. But you also have a community, and we're actually also partnering with another community soon that we're excited to talk about. So you kind of have this double, because they're in the community for you to talk to them all the time, yet they're also going to get emails. Like, how do you navigate? Like, do you also have them segmented so they don't get all of the?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. So for me, the way it works in my ecosystem, and like I said, I'm trying to partner with. When I say I'm trying to partner with as many creatives as I can in 2025, I mean it. It just depends on like at what level I can, right? And so that's kind of how I view it. And so people that are in my community, they get more. They have more touch points with me just because they've agreed to be in that space.
It's also more personal than email.
Yeah, it's way more personal than email. It's at least the way I try to run it, it feels we're trying to make it a community, right? But when I segment my list, I have people that are in my community, not in my community, and then like people that
for emails.
Emails, yeah.
Okay.
Just so I don't want to keep offering for somebody to join the
that they're already in it. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that'd be really annoying.
So that like when I said the Seinfeld series or that Seinfeld's segment, those are my people that are not in the community, and then the community is like one level down in the funnel, if you will.
Yes, I like that. Okay, let's get back to what I just want to call the upsell, I think, because this is probably going to, I don't know, maybe we'll discover something, but it's probably going to adhere more to people who are selling a physical or digital thing where the payoff is immediate, or if not, closely after that. So, for example, a product, 7 to 10 business days, you're going to have an item. Digital, it'd be immediate, right?
Yeah.
But not to say that there can't be a kind of service-based thing that could be an upsell, or you could upsell a community, or you could upsell anything else. So when you sell stuff, when I say stuff, it's like,
physical things, physical goods,
And one thing I noticed when I was on your site, reflective of other people's sites, is the gracefulness of what an upsell is. I think large companies don't care to do it gracefully because it doesn't matter. So, for example, Dr. Squatch. I love Dr. Squatch. I have a Dr. Squatch subscription. This is not sponsored. Maybe one day we'll do design for them or something. But they're gonna ask you like 4 times. If you want to add a bar of soap for $3 off. And it's like, I have a subscription already. I am getting bars of soap monthly
Yeah.
for this reason. I don't, you know, so
Yeah.
obviously there's a difference between one-time purchasing and subscribing. And I think what's frustrating to me about that is that they make the like no thanks really
small.
and then they add big.
Yeah.
The ones that the companies and people that do that the best just make them equal. Like yes or no, I'm good, you know, but it's like equally there.
Yeah.
Yours is like, I think only once or twice, maybe I think it depends on what
I mean, there is a little bit of like strategy to making it small.
Well, then let's talk about it. That's what I'm trying. I just want to know,
Yeah.
like, so people can think about whether they want to do that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely so that right now, like the offer that I'm running that you're probably talking about is like I run a free plus shipping and handling offer for CDs, right? Like
Free plus
So
you only have to pay the shipping,
yeah,
but you get the item for
you get
free.
the item for free.
Yeah.
And usually I'll and it's a pretty basic like funnel that's pretty familiar in like digital marketing spaces. But when I assume that if you're gonna want a CD, that you're probably gonna want another one, or you might, right? And so I think the same
Like
way
for a friend or something.
for a friend, or like, or if you just want another edition, or so to bring it into like maybe like a printable like, more like digital good. If you are downloading this PDF, a guide, maybe you want this guide too.
This
right?
checklist that goes with it.
Yeah, you want something that's supplementary, right? And so usually you want to upsell with some sort of like related item or more of the same item. Like that's the normal upsell strategy.
Well, with digital, it makes sense to be something else. It's like you're not gonna buy the same guide twice.
Or a different medium, right? So like if you're selling a book,
like there's this guide, but for this.
Or here's this book, this digital download, buy the physical version, or buy the audio version. You should be that,
Dang.
Yeah. Or like you upsell to like or related or different mediums. So you can kind of.
But do you show all those all at once, or you're saying it's specific to whatever they've already interested in?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways and strategies you can do it. You can do what's called an order bump, which is
What's that?
So that would be usually order bumps are offering the same, right? So like or same or similar. So
add more.
Yeah.
Would you like to add another?
Yeah,
It's like the Dr. Squatch.
Add another Dr. Squatch thing. Yeah. And then or you can hit them with a one-time offer, which is like, hey, before you go, like here's 50% off a year or whatever. It's Dr. Squatch.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
And then if they don't take that, you can hit them with a downsell, which is like, oh, if you don't want that, here's like a smaller version.
What about this?
Yeah. That's like the typical funnel, like selling process.
Now, do you see a lot of drop off in that funnel? I'm assuming you can see statistics.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have the way it's set up, depending on how the system you use. And if you're doing a funnel, like a traditional funnel, you'll definitely get drop off, but they've already paid like halfway through, right? So they've already like committed to what they are. And if they just say no, it's hard to say like what percentages, because it depends on the offer. It depends on like what you're offering them at the back end, right? Yeah. Don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does. It does totally. I'm just trying to think about how to best help someone utilize this technique, for their betterment, but also obviously for, the consumer or the customer or the client's betterment. And because it could be also like, I'm trying to think of how it might work if you're not selling a physical thing, if you're selling a service. And the idea might be to utilize that kind of upselling pop-up flow, but for more of a, do you want to learn more about this thing?
Yeah.
Or do you want to
sign up for? Yeah. So like, for me, like one of the ones I offer, is for a call. Like you just sign up for like a creative audit. It's like, hey, like I'll help call
an audit. Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's a good one for designers to think about is audit a client or audit a company or audit like 30-minute free consultation, whatever. Yeah.
What's one way that you can serve and like genuinely serve your customer? Like so many times we're trying to figure out ways to like get a sale while also on the other side of our mouth saying we want to help people. I mean, it's like, we want to help, people do this. It's like, but also like, I'm only going to do it if you buy the thing. So like figure out a way, like what's one way that you can serve your customer. And if that is like a creative, like for us, we do a creative audit, or if you do a design audit, whatever it is, a call, or if there's a quick win that you can give them, what's one quick thing that you can give them that would be a win for them? So if that,
Yeah, I've frequently heard the strategy. I don't remember what it's called, but the concept or the model is to give away as much as possible for free so that someone basically just asks to give you money.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole
Yeah.
Chris Doe.
yeah.
I think that's probably Alex Ramosey's model to a degree, is like
Gary
just
Vaynerchuk with
yeah,
Grab Right Hook, all that stuff.
just give as much stuff to where it's like I can't not help but get
Yeah.
you some money for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I think, and it's the way I like to think of it is like done for you and done with you, and DIY. Right, like DIY is I give all that stuff away. Like I'm gonna teach you because I
Wait, what were the three again?
So DIY, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Done with you.
Done with you, done for you. Okay, now
Yeah.
what's the done for you exactly?
Done for you would be like services,
Okay,
service-based
got it.
businesses. Yeah.
Yes.
Done with you would be more of like consulting, audits, that kind of thing.
Yes.
DIY,
Working together.
through checklists. You're gonna go through it yourself. You're gonna do it all yourself.
I like that. I wonder. Yeah, it's a good one. People should write that down, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's definitely more questions, but I want to give people like time and also like the freedom to write comments and ask what they want to learn more about.
Yeah.
So that helps us kind of provide more content.
100%.
But towards the end of our conversations, I always like to give our guest time to talk about what they're doing, where they want people to direct, what you want them to be directed towards, what you're offering, like any of that kind of stuff. So maybe if you want to talk, I mean, you can talk about whatever, but if you want to talk specifically about Flock, I think it probably would be beneficial to quite a few people watching, depending on where they are in their creative time. So just want to talk about it.
So Flock's a community for Christian creators specifically, because I operate in that niche, and I want to equip Christian creatives, and I want to partner with as many creatives as I can. So I started Flock. We have a bunch of different resources that we give to creatives. The one in specific that I'm offering right now is I'm hopping on and doing a creative audit with anybody. And so what that looks like is we hop on, I look at all your socials, your goals, what you're trying to do, and then we figure out the best next step, whether that is in the free community that I have called Flock Run Club, or the paid community where I take the top engager of the community and work with them for 4 hours at the end of the month.
So, but that's the one with the paid community where you're gonna work with them. That's like based on kind of touch points and things they do in the community, right? So that's kind of like based on either on engagement, or they like kind of filling out. It's essentially like they're gonna be rewarded for doing stuff in the community.
I wanna partner with people that are committed to their craft and show up. And so I want to reward that. And so the way we've designed that in the community is when you get in the community, there's like a 7-day jump start. You go through that 7 days in which you kind of define your audience, your message, what you're going to do, the project you're going to do. And then each week we check in with you with what we call a weekly sync. And you kind of commit and say what you're doing. And then you have a community of ours that come alongside you and say, like, keep doing this, or, hey, I tried that, it didn't work. Maybe try to pivot here, and just kind of offer some sort of feedback. And then we meet weekly as well. And there's a couple other like community engagement things that we do. But yeah, based on how much you're committed to helping other creators, that kind of grows you in winning the creator games.
Explain like what that, it's there's this gamification to it.
Yeah.
That's supposed to help you get the most amount out of it. But can you explain like how, can you explain that side of the community? Like what kinds of things like people need to, there's kind of like a ranking, not in a 4-way, like anybody can be on not creatively, but it's just like, oh, this creator has this tag because they've commented the most, or they've posted the most, or they've submitted the most. Like, I don't know if you have tasks to be done, jobs to be done, if they fill the jobs, you know what I mean?
Yep. So each day in the 7-day jumpstart, there's an action step that you take in the community, and based on really just kind of what you're committing to, whether that is sharing resources in the community. Like, so if you're sharing something and then if people comment and like it and give you feedback as well. So it's all based on really how much you're committing and interacting in the community. And then it's kind of gamified within itself. So I actually don't control any of it. It's all based on how much effort you put in.
Okay.
And then you'll kind of grow in the rankings. And then I work with the top person.
Yeah. And just so people know, it's the community is in a tool. It's kind of similar to like a Discord or a Patreon.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
hosted on School.
yeah.
That's
So
the one.
they just so they can be familiar. It's not like it's not like they have to like join a Zoom or something every single time. It's like
No,
it's an actual.
It's on your app. It's really self-paced. We have courses in there. We have a whole creator toolkit in there where I put like worksheets and templates. So there's a bunch of resources, and we want to kind of equip creators again with kind of limiting all barriers to entry or thinking through, share as many resources as I can. And then you just show up and share back and share what's working, what's not. And then we can kind of work.
So if somebody wants to learn more, get started, they can do this call for free. And it's how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. And then they can still sign up for the free community if they would like to.
Yeah, they can actually start there if they want. Yeah.
Okay.
Jump in there, and you can set up a call with me through that.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll put all of it in the description for people to go and check out. Is there anything else you want people to know? Anywhere they need to follow or yeah,
you can follow me on Instagram at Illumination Project. And if you want to check out anything related to Flock, the link will be below, but it's school.com/Flock.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, TJ, thanks for taking the time to hang out. This was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of people get mad value out of this. If you did, please comment below with any more questions, because that could be content that TJ is going to make, or more content that we can make here on the channel. If there's something that you didn't understand and want to go into, please let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm assuming if you've watched this long, you are subscribed. If not, please click that button. It takes 1 second. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.